There is much hype and hoopla in Kerala over the expected arrival of a container mothership carrying transshipment containers at Vizhinjam International Seaport in Thiruvananthapuram on July 12th. Excitement is building up in Thiruvananthapuram. On the day, Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan will be there at Vizhinjam to receive the container ship. Union ministers are also expected to be there. Local MLAs and MPs will be there definitely. Now, the local media are creating narratives. They are comparing Vizhinjam Port to Dubai Jebel Ali Port, Port of Colombo and Port of Singapore, etc. And they think that when Vizhinjam Port becomes operational, it is going to pose a challenge, a serious threat to Dubai or Colombo or Singapore. Are those narratives just wishful thinking, or do they represent or reflect reality? Let's take a harder look and let's get to the bottom of the emerging scenario. Welcome to Insights. This is Hari Kumar. Let me start with by asking two questions. Then I will answer them. The number one, is Vizhinjam International Seaport so big that it's going to pose a threat to Dubai Jebel Ali Port, Colombo, Port of Colombo or Port of Singapore? This is number one. Now, does Adani Group have enough interest in Thiruvananthapuram Vizhinjam International Seaport? Considering the emerging scenario and the current realities, this is the second question. Now, let me say at the onset that this is, of course, a day to be happy because when Vizhinjam becomes operational, though it's not a big port, it's actually a small port. I say not considering the depth or draft of the port. What I mean is that the handling capacity of the port is much less compared to the above said deep sea ports of Dubai, Singapore, or Colombo. But of course, this is a development which all Keralites need to be proud about and we need to be happy. But remember, don't go overboard. You have some reason to be happy but not to be elated. Why? I will compare the handling capacity of Vizhinjam International Seaport with that of Jebel Ali Port, Dubai. The handling capacity of Jebel Ali Port is over 20 million containers, TEU. This is as a yardstick. When or a jargon when we say about capacities of ports. TEU means 20-foot equivalent units. So this is about a container. So this is true that Vizhinjam is a deep sea port, and this is perhaps the only port in India at present where motherships or Panamax ships as they call, or you call ULCCs, ultra large container carriers, can berth. Of course, Vizhinjam is the only such port. Now, the capacity of Vizhinjam port when the first phase is completed, or at present I think it has attained that capacity, or we can at least expect, is 1 million TEU. Whereas at present Jebel Ali port has the capacity, handling capacity is over 23 million TEUs. Look at the difference. Where is 1 and where is 23? Now, when the four phases of Vizhinjam port will be completed, even then the total capacity of Vizhinjam port is going to be just over 6 million TEUs. Now, every port in the world is on a continuous expansion spree. So even when the four phases are complete, it won't be a match. It won't be anywhere near Jebel Ali Port of Dubai. So don't compare it with Dubai Jebel Ali Port, number one. At present, the handling capacity of Port of Colombo, is around 7 million TEUs. So At present, the handling capacity of Vizhinjam is 1 million TU. Compare 7 with 1, and remember that Colombo Port is also being developed fast. So, when four phases of Vizhinjam is developed and the total capacity of 6 million is achieved, the total capacity of Colombo will be much, much higher, because even at present it has got a handling capacity of 6 million, or sorry, 7 million TUs. So, even Colombo is not a comparison. Now you compare it with Singapore, Port of Singapore. Port of Singapore actually handles much, much higher volumes. There, they handle almost 40 million TUs of containers at present. So don't even dream about that. You cannot even dream about matching Port of Singapore. So forget that. Now, let me come to my second question. Does Adani Group have the same interest in Vizhinjam International Seaport at present when initially it was envisaged? I don't think so. Why? Because now Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone, which is the operator of Vizhinjam International Seaport, controls the western terminal of Colombo International Seaport. So they are developing. It's on a BOT basis. Now, as the information available on public domain indicates, they are getting a lease for about 35 years. So now the main competitor of Colombo is operated by Adani. Part of it, I mean Western Terminal. Eastern Terminal of Colombo is being given to, the rights are being given to China. So China and India have got operating rights of Eastern and Western terminals respectively. Now Adani is the operator of Western Container Terminal of Colombo, and they are developing it, spending their own money. Now you imagine how much interest they will have in Vizhinjam, because Colombo Port is already an operational port and there is good volumes of business happening there. Now, I am not saying that Adani, after spending so much thousands of crores, they will one day leave from here. But what I mean is that when both Colombo and Vizhinjam are operated by Adani, Adani will not have any special interest, is unlikely to have special interest in Vizhinjam. So this is a conclusion which I reach. I don't know whether there are other special reasons for Adani Group to focus all their attention on Vizhinjam. Okay, if that happens, it's great. But again, let me also add that we need to be thankful to the Adani Group, because they have come here. Nobody else was willing to develop this port, and they have come here and they played a key role in developing the port. But again, there is another side also to this argument, because when Adani Port was handed, I got the right to develop the port in 2015. Initially, the promise was to develop the port in 1000 days. That was what I remember having read in newspapers, that Gautam Adani, at that time, he promised to do so. So that way it would have become operational by late 2018 or even early, giving some leeway. They would have got it operational by 2019 had they stuck to their initial promise. But that didn't happen. Now this is 2024 and nearing the end of 2024. The port has not yet become operational. Now there has been delay in construction. Maybe there may be other natural calamities like Oki or protests by fishermen. But again, many people have pointed out that Vizhinjam was the first port built by Adani. They never had prior experience in building ports. They had experience in operating ports, not in building ports. So that truth also needs to be considered when we analyze the reasons of delay in construction or the fallouts of the construction, like fishermen were complaining about enhanced coastal erosion along Thiruvananthapuram coast in many areas. There are still many complaints against Adani Group regarding Mudalapuri. They promise, newspaper reports say Adani Group promised to clear Mudalapuri or dredge Mudalapuri, but they didn't do that. They didn't keep their word. Uh, that all issues have been reported by newspapers. But anyway, the group, Adani Group has developed Vizhinjam International Seaport, though there is some delay in it. Okay, we can forgive them for that if they are able to bring business from different parts of the world to Vizhinjam. Now, there are other aspects also. If you look at major ports in the world, or even medium size or even small ports, for example, along with Jebel Ali Port, there is a special economic zone where you have a huge area dedicated for industries. This is a free zone. It's very easy to invest in the area, and that will, from these free zones, will generate goods that can be exported from the same port. So the same applies to Port City, Colombo Port City also, which is also a free zone, and there is huge investment in Colombo Port City. Singapore, of course, is a destination for investment from all over the world. Now, can Vizhinjam match those ports or destination, those countries, in creating a free zone or in attracting investment? I think this is unlikely, because there is shortage of land. Though I know that government has a plan to create a land bank in Vizhinjam and nearby areas and attract investment to those areas. But at the same time, it's not easy considering the peculiar investment climate in Kerala. Kerala is a state from where investors take the next flight. There is a hostile atmosphere in Kerala. Often trade unions are blamed for it, but I think more than trade union, it is the corrupt ecosystem, including politicians, bureaucrats, law enforcement agencies, that has created such an environment in Kerala. So what I mean is that we can be happy about Vizhinjam International Seaport becoming operational, but don't have great expectations. Many things need to be done, because there is a railway line was expected to connect the port with the main line. Now that has not been completed. The development of road is going on, and we may hope that despite delays, all these will be completed. And another important aspect which I need to mention is the promise of Union government a few weeks ago to develop Vadhavan Port of Bombay. I mean, it is near Bombay, just 150 kilometers away from Mumbai. Sorry, Bombay was the earlier name, now it is Mumbai. If Vadhavan Port is developed, the expected container handling capacity of Vadhavan Port is 24.5 million TEUs, which is comparable to Jebel Ali Port. The expected investment at Vadhavan Port is 75,000 crores. Even when the four phases of Vizhinjam are taken into account, the expected investment is around 25,000 crores, 23,000 crores or something. I think for the first phase it is around 7,000 crores. Now, you compare the investment, expected investment, Vizhinjam is no match to Vadhavan. But Vizhinjam, of course, has a great advantage. I said about some of the biggest ports in the world earlier, like Jebel Ali Port in Dubai, which is the 9th biggest port in the world, or Singapore. I think Port of Singapore could be even the third biggest port in the world. Colombo is, of course, not in that grade, but it is also a very busy port. But the depth of those ports are around, in Colombo and Singapore it is around 16 meters. I think regarding Jebel Ali, it is around 17 or 18 meters. But here, it is around 24 meters. The draft is so, even the futuristic ships, the biggest ships that are going to come, are going to be built, will be able to dock at Vizhinjam International Seaport. That is a great advantage. I don't know how we are going to position Vizhinjam International Seaport. Will it just be a transshipment container terminal, or will other type of cargo will be handled by the port? Will cruise ships dock at the port? Will it become? Will there be a shipyard where uh, even even ships of, I mean, even aircraft carriers of US would come for minor repairs or something like that? Of course, bunkering is one of the main goals for Vizhinjam, and that is of course a positive thing. Vizhinjam has great potential to for bunkering, because ships, the international ship route is very near to Vizhinjam. So there are reasons to be happy about, but don't go overboard. Don't think that in a day this is going to develop Thiruvananthapuram or take catapult Kerala to heights of development. Be realistic. That's for now. Meet you with another topic next time. Till then, goodbye.